Well, hi there. It's nice to be back. And we're going to do something a little different today. I had the opportunity to spend some time in Switzerland many, many years ago. And I was impressed with something that was served at a cafe in the middle of the afternoon. In fact, they featured it as a snack, so to speak, that you can enjoy with your coffee, which is a very typical European tradition. To have a snack, a cup of coffee, and then finish off your day. Well, I'm not a big oatmeal fan, never have been, but this particular dish, if you will, is an oatmeal-based dish. But it's not cooked, it's usually not served hot, although it can be. So that's what we're going to try today. The name of this product, or the name of this dish, is called muesli, or Bircher muesli, as they say in Switzerland, which is named after the gentleman, Dr. Benjamin Bircher, who invented it, who formulated this recipe back at the turn of the 20th century, 1906, 1907, somewhere in that vicinity. Now, the one thing about muesli is you can buy it in the store. Now, I bought this one, wasn't really happy with it, too much salt. I tried this one here, and it's not bad. Very little salt or sugar. So these are the pre-packaged. However, what we're going to do today is we're going to make our own muesli, and I'll show it to you step by step, okay? So we'll get started. The products that we need are, of course, rolled oats. We need some raisins. We also need some pecans. We need almonds. We need, one thing I like to use, sunflower seeds or pepitas. These are raw, natural. And then I have in here about a half a cup of whole grain. Whole grain flakes, I should say, like a Raisin Bran, something like that. But the biggest thing you have to be careful of is when you make this, is that you look at the ingredients and make sure there's not added salt or added sugar. We're going to get all of our sweetness through raisins and the juices that we'll use. And salt is really not necessary, although we add a little bit of kosher salt to this recipe just to bring out the flavor. The one thing is, for example, sunflower seeds. A lot of times you can buy sunflower seeds, but they're salted. If those are the only ones you can find, then you want to back off on any salt that you may add to the recipe. So I've got my bowl ready. I've got my ingredients ready. Oh, I forgot the apple. We're going to do an apple. And I need a little bit of lemon juice, and I'll explain that to you in just a bit. So we're going to get ready, position everything, and I'll show you how it's done step by step, okay? Perfect. So in my bowl, I'm going to start off with the oats. And I'm going to use about 3.5 cups of rolled oats. And these measurements do not need to be exact. This is just basically a template, the base. You can add whatever you want, but we're going to go with 3.5 cups of the oats. There's 3, and that's about a half. So that takes care of that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of the wheat bran. And what I did is, since the flakes were pretty large, I kind of chopped them or ground them up a little bit to make them a tad smaller. And I'm going to add a half a cup of the wheat bran. Now, it's really your prerogative as to what you want to add and how much you want to add. The first thing that I'm going to add, however, is some sliced almond. Don't have to measure it very carefully. You put in what you want. Some people suggest for this amount, you do about 1/4 cup. And I think we're pretty close to that. So now we've got the almonds in there. We're going to add about 1/4 cup of the pepitas, the sunflower seeds. I love these critters. I really, really do. They're so good. Oh, what the heck. Might as well finish them off, right? We're going to add some chopped pecans. This is going to give it a nice, well, we'll put all that in there too, right? Why have an empty bag, or why have a bag that's too little to save and too much to throw away? We use it up. Raisins, I like raisins. So we're going to add a whole bunch of raisins. And that's really it. Now, some people enjoy cinnamon. I'm going to add just a tad of cinnamon. just to give it a little bit of depth and flavor. So I'm going to use about a little less than a half teaspoon. That goes in. And the same thing as I said with the kosher salt. If you use salted anything, you really don't need the kosher salt. Just gives it a little spark. So that's that. We mix this all up. And believe it or not, we're done for now. We have a real nice mixture of all of the things that I mentioned. That's what it looks like. It's the dry part, okay? Very good. So now we have our mixed dry ingredients. We're going to go ahead and cut up an apple. Now, the recipe actually says you're supposed to grate the apple, but I like to have nice chunks. So what I did is I just took an apple and cut it up into nice chunks. That goes in the bowl. Very easy. Now, one of the things that I like to do, because I like to add a little lemon juice as it is, but this time I'm just going to take the lemon juice and sprinkle it lightly over the apples. That helps keep them from browning, and it also gives the taste that I want. So I have that all done, and we'll get to the final step here in just a second. Alrighty, we have everything ready to go. We have our apples cut, we have our dry mix done, and we have the liquid that we need. We can put the lemon juice away. We have the liquid that we need. We're going to use milk and cider, and I like to use half and half. In other words, half milk and half cider, not half and half cream, of course. You can use any kind of juice. You don't even have to use milk. You can use almond milk if you like. You can use just milk or almond milk. You can use just cider or apple juice. I've even used cranberry juice. It depends on what the flavor is that I want. But since I'm using fresh apples, I like to use the fresh squeezed apple cider. The ratio is 1:1. So if we make one order, let's say, we're going to take 1 cup of the grain, a half a cup of the cider, and a half a cup of the milk. And that's it for now. Stir that all up. Make sure everything is nicely saturated. And this goes into a container and you refrigerate it overnight. This will be ready to go tomorrow morning, and it'll be a wonderful way to start off the day. As you notice, I didn't add any sugar, any sweeteners, anything else except the natural ingredients and a little bit of kosher salt. So while I put this into the container for tomorrow morning, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Be right back. Well, through the magic of television, what can I say? What I did is I made some last night, some of the muesli. I soaked it, as I showed you, in apple cider and milk. And here's what I have. I didn't make quite as much last night as I did today, but it's going to be ready to go. Regarding the dry mixture, what you need to do is you need to put it into either a glass jar that can be sealed really, really well, or you can also put it in a Ziploc and freeze it, put it in the freezer, and that way it stays a lot fresher. Those nuts don't have the opportunity to release any of their oils, and you want to make sure that they're as fresh as they can be every time you make the muesli. So here's what we did. We went and got a yogurt. We're going to make a parfait. Put some of this in the bottom. Okay. And now we're going to add some of the muesli that I made, which has the apples in it. I'm going to load that on top, like this. A little more. And then we'll add the rest of the yogurt on top of that. Now in some places in Europe you can get this and they put whipped cream on top. Kind of defeats the purpose, but oh well. It is what it is, and it's so good. A little bit of raw honey. This is Appalachian raw honey. And just pour just a little bit over the top. And that's it. You're done. The dry mixture will last anywhere from a month to 2 months. In the freezer up to 3 months. Your already prepared mixture before adding the yogurt will last for 2 days. Again, if you don't want to put the apples in when you're preparing it originally, you can always add them the day that you want to eat the muesli. And that's it. It's a wonderful breakfast. It can be served hot or cold. I prefer it cold, and very rarely do you see muesli served hot. But it's also a great, good tasting afternoon snack. So that's it. We have muesli. We have muesli on the menu. Thanks for watching. See you next time.